And welcome to another episode of Expert Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and today I am talking with the one, the only Ted Prodromou. Ted is, well, first of all, Ted, thanks for squeezing me in. We've been bouncing back and forth with calendars. You're super busy, and but thanks for spending some time with me here on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry about all the backs and forths, but
that's okay. Hey, when you're busy as you are, and I am, it's hard to find a time. So I'm glad we did. So for those of you who don't know Ted Prodromou is America's LinkedIn coach. Okay. He is America's leading LinkedIn coach. He's written a book called LinkedIn for Business. It's actually in its second edition. You can pick that up on Amazon. Third edition. Wow. I missed that one. Third edition. You can find that on Amazon. You can probably find it on his website too. I'm sure he'll tell you about that. But I don't know. If you're listening to this podcast, you're obviously a business owner. You're out there trying to connect with people, and LinkedIn is a great place to do that. But the problem with LinkedIn is there are so many. Well, a lot of people don't know how to do it, and they think it's a sales mechanism up front. But it's, I think, Ted, you're going to help us understand. It's really about relationships that can lead to great sales. But unpack for us, first of all, Ted, a little bit about your background. How in the world did you get here? Let's start there, and then we'll start talking about LinkedIn.
Oh, it's been a long and winding road. That's for sure.
There should be a song by that name, you know?
Yeah. No, for 20 years, I was in Silicon Valley in the tech world.
Okay.
I worked for digital when computer networking was invented. Worked for Cellular One, was employee number 40.
Cellular One. That's crazy. I haven't heard that name for, well, decades.
Yeah. And then I went on my own, and that internet came along, and I knew how to set up computer networks when nobody knew what they were.
Sure.
So I had a great practice going until 2001 when the whole economy tanked.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I couldn't find a job. There was just no way. My skills were like gone. That 20-year career is gone.
Yeah.
So I got certified as a coach because I loved it. I had a bunch of employees, to tell you one. There was 2 people in the IT department when I started. Within 7 years, I had 45 people reporting to me.
Wow, crazy.
I just love mentoring my employees. So I ended up becoming a certified coach.
Okay.
And then I didn't get any business for like a year because I didn't know how to market or sell. I never knew anything about that. So I started going to Dan Kennedy conferences.
Yeah.
Met Perry Marshall, met all these great people that are now like the big internet influencers. They were all just getting started at the same time I did.
Yeah.
And now here I am. I've written 4 books in 8 years.
Wow.
It's crazy. That
is crazy. Yeah. You're on the level of Perry Marshall and things, and what he's on that level of what he does. But in what you do, you're in that same level as well, because when you're talking LinkedIn, I mean, there's thousands of people out there. There are lots of people trying to teach and coach and give you the tips and the tactics, right? But that's not really what you're about. You're about the higher level strategy, the connection, the real aspect of LinkedIn, because that's really what it's about, right?
Remember the old days? Maybe you don't remember these old days.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
It was the Rolodex on our desk.
Yep, had one.
Basically, that thing you spun around had business cards in it.
Yep.
It might have been 200 or 300 business cards in there. That was our whole business network.
Yeah.
And when the .com crashed, that was my whole professional network. And I'd call people up and says, that company's out of business, phone numbers disconnected. They barely had email at that time.
Yes.
So I had to start over. Literally, my 20-year networking is gone. And that's where LinkedIn, I help, connect with a lot of people, reach back out to them. But, you needed something, you needed a new computer router, I knew who to call.
Yeah.
It was right there in my Rolodex. So treat LinkedIn like a Rolodex.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a great word picture, because a lot of my audience will understand a Rolodex. Not everybody. But that's a really interesting way to talk about LinkedIn. So how would we go about doing that? I mean, because the thing about LinkedIn is it's just so vast. But what you seem to be really brilliant at is bringing it down and making it not so vast, making it a Rolodex. Talk a little bit about how
I've been called really old school and old fashioned. And
yeah,
but remember that Rolodex? We actually talked to those people. We shook their hand. We had coffee with them. Went to lunch with them. If you went to BNI over the years, the networking events, you built relationships with people. You got to know them. You talked. You didn't sell to each other. It was
Mm-hmm.
about getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And you build these long-term relationships. I'm getting business from people I worked with 10 years ago right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling me up and says, hey, you're still doing that LinkedIn thing. Can you help me?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been around, because you're in their Rolodex too. And that's really cool because so many times, and with all the social media platforms, like, well, how many followers do you have? It's like, it's all about numbers. And well, it can be, that's not wrong, nothing wrong with that. But when you think about a BNI group or a Rolodex, it's less about how big and the number is, but it's more about the relationship and do I know somebody?
Right.
And how much do I know about you? And could we have coffee over Zoom? Well, yeah, we actually could.
Yeah.
Right. And get to know each other. I'm finding myself doing a lot more just, hey, let's just book 25 minutes and get to know each other.
Exactly.
And see where it leads. Right. But I don't know about you, but dude, some of the LinkedIn messages I get from these strangers, I don't know who they are. They're pushing for a sale or a something. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. They're jumping the gun. At least that's what it feels like to me. So I'm not replying to them. All right. How do you teach people to circumvent, to do it a different way, to build that Rolodex?
You get those messages every day too, huh?
I do.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I get some, you have to scroll like for 5 minutes to get to the end of the message. Like, wait a minute, we just met. You gave me your whole life story, every product your company sells.
Yeah.
And you want to get on a phone call with me right away. I'm like, and then if you don't respond, now the new trick, the last couple of weeks, did you get my last message?
Right.
So I replied to this one guy who sent me one immediately after connecting. It's like pages and pages and pages. Yeah. Like, I don't respond to long messages. He goes, oh, LOL, do you respond to short messages?
Well, kudos
I like
to
to
him.
have fun with these people. And he was trying to sell me LinkedIn coaching services.
Well, there you go. See, yeah, he's really done his research, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But I think that's the deal is you need to be using it like a Rolodex to go, I genuinely want to build a relationship with somebody. We're not going to be, we may not be best buddies for life, right, but I sure want to be able to point to somebody in your direction once I know who you are and are we even a connection? Right. But what's it like? And is there a way that we can work together in some capacity? I don't know what it might be.
Right. No, it's just people are desperate, it feels like. They don't try to get to know you. It's like, hey, come on, let's go do a joint venture together. It's like, well, I don't even know who you are.
Right. Yeah. Why would I do that without having a conversation first to say, am I willing to do that? And
instead of like giving business cards and I'll say, hey, can I have your credit card so we can start doing business together?
Exactly. Yeah, really. What is that number? And it's just crazy. So how should business owners, obviously you coach people on using LinkedIn in business, right? Talk to the business owner out there who's like, yeah, I barely even have a profile because I've been burned or I don't understand it. What are some basic steps that a business owner can take? And is LinkedIn okay does it work for a business owner in like a local community, or do they have to be like a coach running a national organization?
Works for everybody if you treat it like a relationship. I used to have clients just in my local town. Now I have clients all over the world. Mm-hmm. But I use the same approach. I get to know them. I get to learn something about them, eventually get on a call with them. I don't push a phone call right away.
Right.
It's like, let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to do it is there are thousands of people post on LinkedIn every day, millions of people. There's I think 1 billion pieces of content a week or something crazy being posted on LinkedIn now. So you do a search for that type of problem you solve or skills, and then you jump into those conversations where they post the content. So you find the active users, and if you like what they said, you engage with them. If they're just saying, nice post, Ted. Now, I'm not going to waste my time with a phone call with you.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to engage, let's engage. Right.
And, probably less than 10% of the comments are actually, people are actually engaging, trying to engage. So you find the cream of the crop. You find the people that get it. They want to build relationships. They want to share expertise.
That's good.
You're pre-qualifying people.
Yeah. Well, and in a sense, you're fishing in a barrel at that time, because you've already identified that these people are interested you have something to offer, but you said something that was really, really important there, Ted. I hope people are listening. You enter the conversation, and you don't lead with sales, right? You're entering the conversation, providing value, building relationships. It's a process, right?
Yeah. You want to hear how I used to use LinkedIn?
I would love to. I would love to.
So years ago, I was just getting started. I think I had 624 connections when I wrote my first book 10 years ago.
Okay.
Now I have 24,000 because I got to build a big network.
Right.
Like, oh, what a mistake that was. So what I used to do when that software first came out years ago, you could actually view people's profiles.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed my headline to say, I help attorneys get better clients who pay more or whatever, something catchy.
Right.
And I would view 1,000 profiles a day.
Oh my goodness.
And then they'd get notified, Ted viewed your profile. They'd reach out and connect with me.
Yeah.
And then, some of them might become clients, but that's how I used to use LinkedIn. A disaster.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Now it really is, it goes back, it's old school. I love the way you said a Rolodex, because that's super old school. But isn't business based on relationship?
Yeah.
We always say, you got to know, like, and trust somebody. Well, how do you do that? Well, it's courtship in a sense. It's, hey, let's hop on a call. Let's talk. And that's not a sales call. That's let's get to know each other and see if there's any possibility that what I offer helps you or your audience, and vice versa.
Right.
And if it does, great.
You get good clients, you get referrals.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have 10 really good clients than 1,000 people that I work with one time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you build that Rolodex, you keep going back to those people, right? Because they refer people to you. So you keep that relationship going. And people who know me know we build our business on systems and thank you systems and gifting systems. And because it is about relationship. That's what drives our business. That's where our clients come from, our referrals from the relationships we've built. And I think too many people have the wrong idea around LinkedIn, that it's just another TikTok or another whatever. It's a mechanism out there, and it's annoying. It's annoying. There you go. That's a great idea. It's annoying. But when you do it right, it doesn't take that long. When you have a strategy, when you have a process, a busy business owner could carve out 20 minutes a week and just say, this is what I'm going to do for 20 minutes a week, and that's all I'm going to do. Great. That's a great starting point. What are you going to do in those 20 minutes?
Right. See, that's like my competitors. By 90% of the competitors, they're hyping. I can get you 100 leads a week or 100 sales calls a month or whatever. Like, well, if you're a small business, how many calls could you actually handle?
That's right.
Why don't you get better at closing the sales instead of getting 100 or 500 leads a week?
That's right.
It's just, even if you're in a large company, if you're in sales and there's 100 sales reps, if everybody does one relationship a day, even, your business is going to blow up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And everybody's like, I got to close the sale. I got to meet my numbers. You can feel their desperation in those messages.
Oh yeah.
They don't care about you. They want your credit card.
That's right. Which doesn't bode for a long-term business relationship either. Right. But if you're going to, and I learned this years ago from somebody, if you're going to close the sale, the best way to do that is to open the relationship. Right. And that's what you're talking about. That's what you coach business owners to do is build that relationship, that Rolodex. I love that. The LinkedIn Rolodex, right? To have real conversations. So how would, if a business owner is on LinkedIn, they're in one of these groups and they're hearing some chatter, they're giving good content. What's a good outreach message to somebody if they really want to say, you know what, I think I'd love to have a meeting with Ted. I'd love to talk. What kind of a message is that?
Well, the first thing you want to do is change your headline. Because if you have a boring job title, I'm the CEO of Search Marketing Simplified, like, who cares?
Yeah, that's right.
But if you put a benefit related statement in there, like who you help and how you help them, every time you comment or every time you connect with someone, that headline shows up. So they say, oh, Ted can help me with LinkedIn. And then as you're building those relationships, one of the things my assistant came up with years ago, actually, when I connect with people, you say, hey, thanks for connecting. She said, just for fun, tell me something interesting I wouldn't know from your LinkedIn profile. About 20% of people actually reply and tell you something about them.
Yeah.
One guy said, I have 5 children with 5 different women. And then the LinkedIn auto prompt message said, that's not good. So I shared that with him and he goes, well, we have adopted children. So
that's great. I love that.
But it lowers their guard. They're like, I'm not selling to you. I'm having fun with you. I'm building a relationship.
Yeah.
Humor works great on LinkedIn.
And that's good because that's personal, because that's what you would do if you sat down at a coffee shop or somebody with somebody. Say, tell me about yourself.
Right.
And that's why when I started here, that's my first question. How'd you get here? Right. Cellular One. I remember I sold Christian radio for 9.5 years. One of my clients was Cellular One. And I was like, oh my goodness, I remember the lady that I worked with. Oma was her name. I mean, everything comes flooding back. But I would never have known that had I not asked you that question. Tell me your background. I had no idea you worked for Cellular One. That's amazing. Employee number 40. That's crazy.
Yeah. I wish we got stock options. Boy, I wouldn't be here today.
That's right. Exactly. You'd be in like Tahiti or someplace.
So another thing I do, a couple days after I connect with people, I'll send them a message saying, hey, thanks again for connecting. Here's my personal email address in case you ever have any LinkedIn or Sales Navigator questions. And I give them my real personal email. I'm not selling anything. You wouldn't believe how many people reply and say, oh, I got a question about Sales Navigator. And I end up doing training for their sales team. I'm not selling anything. I'm just offering my personal email to help them.
Interesting. It's
not hard.
Well, no, and that's a great point right there, because it's simple, really, at the end of the day, right? The 3 words that I try to live by are clarify, simplify, and multiply. And what you just did is you simplified LinkedIn to say, here, can I help you? Can I be a resource to you? Here's a way to get.
And they're going to view your profile probably. They'll see in your profile what you do and who you help. They may go to your website and this, hey, Ted's the guy that can help me. Or Ted's not the guy that can help me.
Either way is just fine.
Yeah.
And when you're consistent over time, you get those prospects who come to you 10 years later to go, hey, are you still doing that thing I need help with? And so many times the programs that are out there being sold, whether it's for LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, are just kind of fly by night ish.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, no, not for me.
They're gimmicks.
They are gimmicks. Yeah. And people get burned, and that's why they get turned off of LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever it is, because they're looking at it as a tactic and something. It's like, no. This is a long-term strategy that plays into everything else you do in marketing, right?
And when you're a little active every day on LinkedIn, even 5 minutes a day, the algorithm notices that and starts putting your profile in front of people that thinks you should be connecting with. Or if you haven't talked to someone, you see people's content for a while, and if you don't engage, it goes away.
Right.
You say, gosh, I haven't seen Michael on LinkedIn in a while. And I look you up, the algorithm triggers, and I start seeing your content again.
Okay.
So even if you say happy birthday to someone you worked with 20 years ago, the algorithm starts putting you in front of each other, and then it multiplies. The algorithm does all the work for you.
Yeah. But you just have to be consistent. One of the phrases I use is consistency over time. And it's just being at 5 minutes a day. Could you carve out 5 minutes a day? Yes, you could. Right. And you could go post something. Well, some people can't, but they should.
They're broke and they're desperate and they're like, I need business, but I don't have time to use LinkedIn.
Well,
I hear that all the time.
Backwards thinking. Guess what? If you follow Ted's advice and his counsel and his programs, you'll never have to say that again, because he'll teach you how to build relationships on LinkedIn. And you think about it, Ted, if I make a sale to you, I get money. Great. But if I build a relationship with you and you trust me, now I've got your influence with your friends, your neighbors, your LinkedIn connections. I just opened up a whole network of people that I didn't have access to before, because I'm leading with relationship, not with revenue.
Yeah. People don't log into LinkedIn every morning and say, I hope somebody sells me something.
Can't wait to buy something today. Yeah, it's not
People
like going to
wanna
Amazon. I
buy.
mean, when I go to Amazon, I'm ready to swipe my card most of the time, right? I'm there. I'm a buyer. Not so much with LinkedIn. I'm there to learn, to build relationships, to network.
Yeah. Financial advisors, you're looking for someone to manage your money. And people actually talk to financial advisors, and people search, like going to the yellow pages and find a financial advisor.
Right.
Or they ask their friends, who's managing your money? Then you do your research, you Google them, and their
Yeah.
LinkedIn profile will come up at the top
It
usually.
will. It will.
And that's how you learn about their background.
Well, yeah, and touch on that because not a lot of people know that. I learned that sometime last year. Is that when you Google your name, most of the time the LinkedIn link is like the top one.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it is. And so then you click that, you go to your profile. What are some things they should have on their profile?
Yeah, because Google loves LinkedIn content because it's quality content.
Mm-hmm.
So they favor it. But what happens if you search my name, you'll see it says Ted Prodromou, LinkedIn and Sales Navigator training after my name. And that comes from my current job title, the first job and under my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever keywords you put in that job title show up in the Google search.
Interesting. Very cool. Little tidbit there. That was free, by the way, for listening. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things like that, right? But a lot of business owners don't even know that. They don't know. And when was the last time, you listeners, when was the last time you Googled your own name and went to your own LinkedIn profile to see what it looks like?
And that's exactly what people do when people refer you. They go to Google.
Yeah, they do. Because Google is the yellow pages,
right?
And the white pages or whatever it is. That's what you
TikTok
and I grew up
is
with.
now, I heard. No.
Yeah, I'm not listed in that one though. But it's about building relationships and not coming off salesy and sleazy. It's about becoming real with people and giving them opportunities to engage. I love how you just reach out with your personal email address. Say, hey, can I help you here? If you ever need help, here's how to get a hold of me. Well, that's radical. You don't have to direct message me or anything like that.
No secret guard, gets that fake email address that my assistant gets, and then maybe she'll let me talk to you.
Right. No, I'm a real person that wants to build a relationship and have a sit down coffee with you. So let's do a short meeting and just see.
I'm not looking for 100 clients a week. I'm looking for 1 or 2 good clients a week.
That's right.
That's plenty.
That's plenty, because then you can actually serve them well.
Yeah.
And you're not a machine that's churning. And I think that seems to be the vision of a lot of small business owners, is they see the big dogs out there who they built this machine.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to do. It's like, why? What? I mean, I don't like to work with machines. I like to work with people. And
if you respond personally to people's questions via email or LinkedIn messages, you ever buy something, the salesman gives you your cards. If you ever have any problems, I'm here to help you. They never return phone calls or emails.
Yep, exactly.
Like, hey, I just spent $50,000 on a new car with you and I'm having problems and you're not helping me.
That's right.
Yeah. So just reply, help people.
And that's part of being on LinkedIn on a regular basis. You could spend your 5 minutes replying to some things, posting some things, finding out people who are asking questions and just chiming in and say, here's what I think.
Yeah.
If you have questions, book a call or email me. Be happy to talk with you.
Yeah, I work with a lot of coaches. So if you're inviting people to connect, you say, hey, I like connecting with other coaches. I'm a certified coach also. I got started in 2001 after my .com career destroyed it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they come back and tell me a story how they got started coaching. Nobody's selling to each other. We're like, hey, we both are coaches. We got this in common. This is how we got started.
Yeah. And therein lies great opportunities, because you find out that you're both coaches, but you probably don't do the same things, and your audience can use both services, a portion of your audience, right? And so there are great cross promotion opportunities there. You may never sell something to that coach, but you may sell something to their audience, or they may refer somebody in their audience to go, you know what? I know the guy who's really good at LinkedIn, and I think that'd be a great strategy for you. I don't do that, but I know Ted does. And it's because you had the relationship. And
isn't that more fun to have a real conversation with a human being instead of cutting and pasting a sales pitch at people?
Oh, totally. I
guess we're weird, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, I've been told that many times, dude. Because and it's being you. It's being authentic. And like you said earlier, I'll like you or I won't most of the time. And that's totally okay. If you don't like me, I don't want to work with you.
Right.
It won't be good
Do you
for
like
either of us.
robocalls? You know, when the robocall interrupts your dinner?
Love
With
those
automated
things.
messages, people blasted us. It's like robocalling. I said, do you want to be
Yeah,
associated with robocalling? Because that's
yeah,
what you're doing to people. And they
exactly.
go, oh, but I get a lot of leads that way. Like, what good are those leads? Are they really good leads?
That's right. Yeah. And you're also getting a lot of reputation out there, and you have to control your reputation. And one way you do it is being genuine and putting service first.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It really isn't. That you just need to, as I tell people more and more these days, it's like, stop following the big gurus out there and just get real and have conversations with people, whether it's on LinkedIn or webinars. Well, I have to do the webinar a certain way because that's what he told me to do. I'm like, you know what? Be yourself. And it's okay. Yeah, but nobody's told me that before. It's like, well, try it.
That's the old
It might
school.
just work.
Before
It
the
is old
internet
school.
people.
Seriously, good point, because a lot of the people telling that are young guns, way younger than me and you, but that's okay.
Well,
We've got
think
some years.
about something some gimmick you invested in a year ago. Or that guru saying this is the best way to get clients on LinkedIn. Google their name now, a year later,
Yeah.
and see what they're selling now. It's something totally different.
Yeah.
They're just selling gimmicks that work for 5 minutes and everybody does it.
Yeah.
You want to go the other direction, do the opposite of what the wave is doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I like about you and the way you approach things is it's a relationship, not just to gain client. But once you have clients, you're there to help them. You're not selling gizmos and gadgets.
Right.
Right. You've got courses and things, but you're a coach, and coaches work with people, and you can give counsel. And obviously you've got lots of experience in business and things, because LinkedIn is just, it's an avenue to talk about business. But how many times do we have clients who are stuck for some reason, and the solution they need has nothing to do with LinkedIn,
right?
But it has a lot to do with your experience as a business owner. And you can say, well, here's what I've learned. Have you thought about this? And they're like, oh.
Right.
That's the value.
Exactly.
Right. So, Ted, you've got a website. How does somebody reach out to you? Because you offer, I think, something that's unique and different from a lot of the other, LinkedIn things. And I want people to be able to find out more about you, build a relationship with you, get your personal email address, book a call with whatever. What's the best way for somebody just to take that next step? Is it to connect with you at LinkedIn or what?
Yep. Ted Prodromou. Go to linkedin.com/in/Ted Prodromou.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
YourLinkedInCoach.com.
Awesome.
That's the easiest way.
YourLinkedInCoach.com. I like that one. I'm going to have those in the show notes, by the way, your LinkedIn profile and your website. And yeah, you
mentioned that you heard me on this show when you invite me to connect on LinkedIn, because I probably won't accept your invitation otherwise.
That's right.
Get so many sales pitches. I'm very picky these days.
All the time. Yeah. So do put expert speak in there, and you'll learn a lot from his LinkedIn. Just watch him for a while, connect with him. Go to his website, YourLinkedInCoach.com, and just look at what he has. You've got articles there, you've got courses there, you've got all kinds of great things there. But the thing I loved about it is when I was there, it felt different than a lot of the gadgets and gizmo people, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like you were just trying to sell me something and it's like, okay, this is really, it's different. And now talking with you and I understand why it's different, because you're different, that's one reason I wanted to have you on here, is just
I spent tens of thousands of dollars on those gimmicks over the years, and that doesn't work.
They just don't work. A lot of them are still in cellophane back here, right? And it's relationship. It's connecting with people. It's saying, here's who I am. Here's how I serve you. Is there a match?
I think people forget we're on LinkedIn having conversations with people rather than a bot blasting messages at you.
Yeah, because usually when you do, my bot replies to your bot, and then they have a conversation. It's like, wait a minute, can we just cut through the bots and just talk? And that's really what it's all about.
You're going to send me the money. You're going to write me a check if you hire me.
That's right. That's right.
It's not going to be a bot sending money, and the bots are going to do all your solutions for you.
That's right.
We're going to get on the phone and work together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the whole deal, is getting together, building relationships, and saying, how can I serve you? What are you up against? What do you have to work with? What are you trying to make happen and what makes sense? And I'm sure you're like me, Ted. You'll talk to some people and you're like, okay, I'm not the right guy. You don't need, for me, you don't need a book. Here's what I think you need. Let me connect you with him because of, you're going.
I turn down a lot of clients. I say, I just really can't help you. I'm not going to take your money because I don't want you to waste your money. Here's someone that may be able to help you.
Yeah. And that's a breath of fresh air because not a lot of people will do that.
And here's a question I ask every day. What do you need right now? And they'll say, I need a client, whatever. Yeah. They'll tell you what they need right now.
Yeah.
If you don't ask them, they're not going to tell you. They're going to tell you, they're going to go off on some other tangent and they're desperate or just really upset.
Yeah.
It's just comfort them.
Yeah.
What do you need right now?
Yeah. That's awesome. Keep it simple, keep it relational, and have conversations with people. And LinkedIn is just it's an amplifier of conversation at one level. That's really what it should be. It's
5 minutes a day.
Yeah. It's no big deal, right? It's
fun.
Well, and it can be. And that's what I love about your approach to it. It should be fun. Let's put some fun back in business, right? If you're not having fun in your business, you need to be thinking about doing something else. So let's have some fun, ask some people some wacky questions and build relationships and do it. You can do it through LinkedIn. Ted Prodromou can help you do that. YourLinkedInCoach.com is a great website. Go there, learn about him, go to his LinkedIn profile and see how Ted can help you put LinkedIn into your business as a long-term relationship building strategy that will help you grow your business. It drives revenues, it drives sales, it does all of that when you do it the right way. And Ted, being old school, as you said, will help you build your LinkedIn Rolodex so that you can build better connections and relationships. That's what it's about. So Ted, man, thanks for being on here. This is really good. This is refreshing because it's a laid back conversation about relationships. And
we just built a relationship. Oh my gosh.
We did. Crazy, right? And but that's how it all starts. So you help people do it on LinkedIn and you've got a wealth of knowledge. So reach out to Ted Prodromou on LinkedIn. Go to YourLinkedInCoach.com and see who he is. See if you connect with him and then reach out to LinkedIn and connect with him. See how he can help you. Ted, thanks again for being here. It's been a fun time.
Thank you.
Well, you are welcome. We will see each other, I'm sure, on LinkedIn and many other places. Take care.
I'll be watching.